Ilene Ballentine has been a spiritualist for around 35 years and a professional medium for over 30 years. The personal growth workshops that she teaches give a playful, accepting way of looking at life and its challenges, and it makes it comfortable for her students to explore and make shifts that bring them peace and comfort. Eileen's greatest joy these days comes from being with her 4 wonderful granddaughters. Please welcome to the podium Ilene Ballentine. Yay!
Thank you, Cynthia. Good morning. I want to thank you all for the gift of your presence here today. Today marks the winter solstice, which actually occurred at 10:03 or 10:04 today. And in many cultures, the winter solstice is also known as Yule. This day marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year in the northern hemisphere. So to clarify, today is the actual winter solstice, and Yule is a celebration of that, representing the return of the light, the cycle of life, the interconnectedness of nature and humanity. Yule was primarily a pagan celebration, which, for those who are not aware, the word pagan comes from the Latin root meaning country dweller. The term pagan was given to those who lived outside of the city and or who practiced nature-centered religions. It wasn't until the 19th century that that word, pagan, became synonymous with heathens or devil worshippers. Why does this matter today? We're living in a time when spiritual traditions, especially nature-based or ancestral practices, are still misunderstood and judged by many, and often by the same systems who actually have borrowed many of their traditions. So highlighting these roots isn't about taking anything away from anyone's faith. It's instead about acknowledging the full story, honoring the cultures that came before us, and reminding people that the magic of midwinter has always belonged to everyone. And maybe, just maybe, it invites us to reconnect with the season the way our ancestors once did, through reverence, ritual, firelight, community, and the quiet awe of the returning sun. People around the world are eagerly preparing for the enchanting celebrations. With a rich tapestry of traditions, rituals, and symbolism, Yule offers a beautiful opportunity to honor the cycles of nature, embrace the winter season, and welcome the returning light. It's a time of joy, transformation, and deep spiritual significance for those who observe it. Yule symbolizes the rebirth of the sun as the days gradually start to lengthen, bringing a promise of warmth and growth in the coming months. It's a time of renewal and transformation, both in nature and within ourselves. Yule represents the cycles of life, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, there is always the potential for light and growth. This is a time to shed old patterns, release what no longer serves us, and set intentions for the future. Being deeply rooted in the cycles of nature, Yule highlights our connection to the earth and the importance of honoring and respecting the natural world. Yule is traditionally a time of gathering with loved ones and family and community, a time for warmth and love and gratitude. Yule celebrations often involve feasting, exchanging gifts, and participating in rituals or ceremonies that foster a sense of connectedness and unity. These Yule traditions were not born from one religion. They're part of a much older, earth-based lineage that Christianity later incorporated, sometimes respectfully, sometimes strategically, and sometimes while condemning the very magic that they were borrowing from. In fact, many pagan Yuletide traditions became Christmas traditions, such as evergreens and wreaths. We see them all around the temple. We see them all around our town. And they're a symbol for life and strength during the darkest days, used for protection, vitality, and as a reminder that life endures. The Yule log, a sacred, often carved or blessed log burned for protection, good fortune, and to honor the returning sun. The ashes were kept all year for ongoing blessings. One year, our family got a live Christmas tree. It was in between my kids being babies and my grandkids. Now we can't. But at the end of the season, we cut off a piece about this big and saved it for a year. And then the next year, my husband drilled holes in it, and we made that our Yule log and decorated it. So part of bringing the past into the present. Mistletoe, which is a plant of magic, healing, and fertility, its modern kiss beneath the branch tradition echoes its ancient symbolism of union and blessings. Gift giving during Yule symbolizes the spirit of generosity and sharing. It's a time to express love and gratitude for one another. Handmade or nature-inspired gifts are often favored, and the act of giving is seen as an offering of abundance and blessings. The wild hunt and its Santa connection. In some pagan lore, the god Odin was said to ride through the winter skies, leading the wild hunt, a ghostly procession of uncertain spirits in tow. Some scholars note that elements of this myth influenced the later imagery of a winter rider with supernatural companions. Does this sound familiar? Eventually evolving into one of the many roots behind the Santa or Father Christmas archetype. Yule is a time for gathering with loved ones and sharing a festive meal. Traditional foods include roasted meats, root vegetables, mulled wine, spiced cider, Yule log cakes, and other seasonal treats. The feast is often accompanied by toasts, blessings, and expressions of gratitude for the abundance of this season. Various rituals and ceremonies are performed during Yule to celebrate the turning of the year and the cycle of nature. These may include candlelighting rituals, divination practices, drumming or chanting, and group ceremonies to honor deities associated with the season. Journaling, meditation, and divination are often incorporated to gain insight and clarity. So set aside some time for introspection and meditation to reflect on the lessons learned during the past year and envision the future you wish to manifest. And Cynthia and I did not talk at all before she wrote that meditation, and they go hand in hand. Embrace the transformative energy of the solstice to release what no longer serves you and invite new beginnings. Now, this is a little different than usual, but I'm going to invite you all to share in a visualization that I created for today. So if you're willing to, take anything off your lap and get comfortable. It's just going to be brief, but... Okay, so let's just start by taking a few deep cleansing breaths. And close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. If not, it's fine. In your mind's eye, imagine that you're standing in front of the entrance of a very large and busy airport. You're carrying many bags. Some are large, some are small. Some have wheels, and others do not. As you step through the doors, you're immediately aware of the frantic energy all around you. People are rushing about, dragging their own baggage, heading to various destinations throughout the airport. For some reason, this airport does not have a place to check your baggage, so you have to carry it all on your own. At first, you're not bothered by the weight of all your bags. It actually feels very familiar, maybe even comfortable. You look at the board and see that your gate is all the way at the end of the terminal. So you begin your long jaunt with all your baggage in tow. After several minutes of briskly walking, you become aware of how cumbersome your baggage is becoming. Your arms start to tire and your legs feel tight and uncomfortable. You see a bench and you sit down for a rest. And as you are resting, a person, or rather a figure, appears before you. This figure calls you by name and asks if you would like to lighten your load. You answer them by saying, "Of course I would, but I need all these things that I'm carrying." The figure asks if you are sure that you still need all of these things. At this point, you stop to consider this very question. "Well," you say, "everything in these bags has been with me for a very long time, and I don't know what I would do without them." The figure asks you to pick one small bag and to open and explore its contents. With some hesitation, you pick a small bag and gingerly unzip it. When you open the bag, you see that it's filled with minor irritations and disappointments. "Surely you could let go of some, if not all of these," states this kind figure. They then point to the wall behind you, and they inform you that this wall is actually lockers that can store anything. Some of the lockers are big enough for several people to fit inside, and some are very small. The figure hands you a key with the number 2025 on it. They inform you that you can put any or all of your baggage in the locker, and you can come back at any time to reclaim it, if you choose. Your heart starts to quicken as you contemplate moving on without the weight of your baggage. Then, as though the figure can read your mind, they look directly into your eyes and speak. "I know that you have carried some of these things for all or most of your life. I also know that everything in every bag has served you well at some point in your life. For instance, many of these items may have protected you from emotional pain. Many have given you a sense of power, belonging, safety, even love, when you could not find these things elsewhere. However, many of these things are now keeping you from living authentically as you have grown and changed throughout these years." The figure smiles a warm, accepting smile and tells you that the choice is always yours, and reminds you that anything you choose to put in a locker can be retrieved at any time. Then, as mysteriously as they appeared, this kind, wise figure disappears, leaving you with a feeling of hope and excitement. You take the key, open the locker, and you put all your baggage in and turn the key to lock it. Already you feel lighter and freer. There's a bounce in your step. As you continue your walk through the terminal towards your gate, which is number 2026, you're breathing deeply, smiling at people walking by, and you're excited to experience your journey authentically and joyfully. You are ready to step in to 2026 as a lighter and brighter version of you. Now take a few deep breaths, breathing in this experience and letting it settle into your whole being. And when you are ready, please allow your awareness to come back to Colby Memorial Temple and gently open your eyes when you are ready. Remember, the rituals that I talked about today and the releasing exercise are just suggestions, and you can adapt or create your own based on your beliefs and your preferences. And you may find that some of the baggage that you want to step into the next year without, you may need some help, some professional help, or some help of a friend to help hold your hand as you let go. The most important aspect is to approach this season with reverence, intention, and a deep connection to the natural cycles and energy of life. Since Yule is a time of giving gifts, my 3 granddaughters, Lorelei, Charlotte, and Madeline, made little bags filled with chocolates, and there's a little crystal heart. So don't throw it out until you find your crystal heart. It's like, like the box of Cracker Jacks, the little toy. And they're going to be waiting right out there at the end of our service, and they're going to hand them out, so make sure each of you gets one. They had so much fun making them. We sat around the table, and they put some in, and then they'd pass it, and put some in, and they'd pass it. And so it was a fun thing. So in closing, I wanted to share a short poem that I wrote for this service. It's untitled, so we'll just call it Untitled. Hark ye lovers of Yuletide cheer, come out and rejoice as winter draws near. Seek the light on these cool, condensed days. Let nature be your muse as she dances and plays. The air turns crisp in the lapis evening sky. The wind gently blows, lifting leaves up to fly. Whirling and twirling like dancers will do, then landing ever softly, making wishes come true. Wrap yourself in a blanket by the crackling fire. Gently close your eyes as you feel yourself tire. Allow your dreams to take you away to castles and kingdoms where fairy folk play. And there as you wander through forest and glen, laughing and playing like a child once again, that magical treasure you sought from the start is buried inside you. It lives in your heart. Now you know all the secrets and have earned a good rest. Your reward is the treasure from this long winter's quest. Thank you all for your attention.